all so far, everything you see here, free. There was 1, 2, possibly 3 different turkeys gobbling. Started out with 1 this morning. Welcome to Time by the Tent. Thanks for joining me here up at the land on an extended weekend, Thursday afternoon for the second week of turkey camp. Going to see if we can harvest a bird this either this afternoon, Thursday, or Friday morning, Saturday morning, or Sunday morning. We're going to see what we can do. Driving up here, drove through rain. It has rained here. It doesn't show that it's going to rain anymore today. Very quiet. The trees have just flourished, and over the last 3 weeks are almost completely filled out now. On the way up here, saw 21 turkeys in 7 different fields, and 2 were on the side of the road that had got hit by cars. So I don't know. I'm going to get the stuff unpacked. It's 51 degrees, overcast, very chilly and damp. So I'm going to get the car unpacked and eat. I'm going to have a salad, chicken salad, not chicken salad, but a salad with chicken, white chicken in it. Lettuce is homegrown and other components were purchased. And then kind of figure out what move I'm going to make here. First time ever since owning the property that I have or anybody has been up here on a Thursday. So now that only leaves Tuesday and Wednesday left to visit the land on those days. Not that it's important or anything, just a unique tip or a piece of information there. So I'm just kind of looking around, seeing how everything looks. We did get just a little bit of water there, not much. Okay, whenever I get everything, I'll get everything unloaded from the car and I'll show you what I'm having for lunch. Okay, kind of a dreary, dark day, but next 3 days are supposed to be really, really nice. But I've got chicken salad. I used one of these chicken packets there, croutons, bacon bits, homegrown lettuce. I got a lot of lettuce there, which is fine, that's good. So I'm going to have a lot of salads if I want. And I've got other things. Cheese and then ginger ale. That's $1. And it's just as bad for you as the $2.62 name brand stuff. So take that for what it's worth. And I got these sweet, what is these? Hawaiian rolls that were on sale as well. So going to enjoy this and then kind of figure out what move I want to make about possibly going out this evening and just setting and calling for a little bit, due to the fact that I've seen so many turkeys on the way up here. I'm here for that purpose, so I think that is something I'll do. What time is it now? It's about 2:45-ish, so probably around 4:30, 5 o'clock I'll go out and see and sit there for an hour and see if I can make anything happen. So, thank you for coming along with me. And not only will it be Turkey Camp Week 2, but it will be a lot of camp stuff as well. That'll organize this. I brought up an ottoman that we had given to us for free. I got to put the lid on that, which I brought up last week. The rinse-off area will be completed this week outside of the warming or the burner and the pump or the shower, rinse-off shower thing head, and other jobs that will need to be completed. It is 54 degrees in the tent, and when I got here, I did put up our flag from eaglemountainflag.com. Wind was picked up quite a little bit earlier, but now it's just kind of stagnant, so good looking flag, pole and flag. So I worked on the rinse off area. I've got this cloth here, this cloth tarp, and which was given to us. And I am short over here, so what I'm going to do tomorrow is take and cut 32 inches that way and down. It's folded over, and then just attach it here, and that will fill in that area. And then I've got broom handle that will go above the top here so we can walk underneath it, and a shower curtain liner, which is fine, it doesn't need to be a shower curtain, and then that will be completed. What I'll do with this extra here is I'll just fold it over nicely, tuck it in, and nail it. So I'm not going to cut all that off. I just need a little bit in order to complete that there. It is time for me to go out. I'm just going to go out, sit down, do some calling, see if I can make a bird come in. Middle of the afternoon turkey hunting, very different than early morning, especially if you don't see the birds or know that the birds are there. And sit there for an hour or so, and then come back and probably finish that up there. But I got to give it a try today, and then we'll go and listen for birds tonight, and then go out in the morning regardless if I hear birds or not, and Saturday morning and Sunday morning, and unless I get a bird before then. Got my decoy set up there. I've called 2 times now. Just sitting here waiting. Returned back to camp. Did not hear anything or see anything except for birds and a couple of red squirrels. Didn't expect to middle of the afternoon, unless you're setting up on, you got a field, you see a bunch of birds out there, you can sneak in on the edge and then call them to you. With 40 acres of pine timber, unless you know where they're at or hear them, to me it's going to be very difficult. So we got an hour and a half before the sun really starts to go down, starts to get dark. Light wind, so we will see what we hear this evening. For supper, I'm probably just going to do chili dogs. I was going to do venison burgers, but those are still very frozen from when I pulled them out of the deep freeze this morning. So that's fine. They'll keep longer, and then I have, that'd be for 2 meals, 2 each. Then I've got some leftover or additional back straps that was used, but we didn't use all of it and we refroze it. So that will be when those start getting to the point where it's easy to work that meat, then I will go ahead and cook those. But for right now, I think I'm going to work on finishing this up, getting, like I talked about, or cut that, move that over, tighten everything else down, and call it good. Alright, cut that there, nail all this other stuff down, then put the shower curtain up, and then I'll pull the floor out, or the stepping stones, and level all this off the best I can, and then replace them, and then see how many additional ones I need. Okay, we have accomplished the completion of the rinse-off area. We just need the heater and the stand. You got rod there. I'll probably just leave that alone. It's not in the way of anything. The shower curtain does blow in a little bit, but it's not bad. Privacy and getting done what needs to get done. So I think that's about all I can do on that at this point. And then when the shower curtain's not in use, just run it between the wall, tuck it in, and it's not going to blow in the wind. So I think it's pretty good. I mean, I do have to do the floor. I still got to do that, but that's minor. Construction portion is done. Yeah, I'm just going to leave that handle. Just going to leave that. That's not hurting anything. All so far, everything you see here, free. Lumber from the property, that was free. That concrete paver, had that in the barn. The tarp, neighbor gave that to us for free. Shower curtain was in the attic, don't know, or shower curtain cover, whatever you want to call it, was in the attic, don't know where that came from. Broom handle, found that on junk day years ago. The pot that the water will sit in, that was purchased. Holly bought that years ago, don't know why, never used it. So that's probably a 4-gallon container there. So saved about $25 on the tarp. We were going to do like camouflage netting, mesh type stuff, so we didn't have to buy that. So that was an expense that was saved. So doing pretty good on this so far, free. And the screws and the nails were the neighbors. He said have at it. He didn't need them. He's collected a lot of them. Take what I need. So that was free. So that's pretty good. So I think the expense is going to be the propane thing with the propane stand, and about $40, and the shower pump rinse thing about $49. So I am going to get the campfire going so I can get the hot dogs cooking, or the chili dogs. And then it's still fairly, very, very quiet and calm. So I will just kind of sit here and listen for what I would like to hear, being a couple of turkeys going to roost out there on the property or close to it, in which I can get out there in the morning and harvest one and call the weekend completion, or a success, I guess. Not really a failure. I mean, up at the land, in nature, Northwoods of Wisconsin. No sounds of people or vehicles or anything. Just birds, squirrels, and our camp. Got supper made, chili dogs with cheese. This is just the El Cheapo chili for, I think it's $1.12 versus $2.68 of the name brand. I can't tell the difference on the chili dogs. Also have the Merlin Bird app out, and it identifies all the birds that it hears through AI. It's really neat. It takes about 1 gigabyte of space on your phone, but it's really neat. You can see what's in your area. It can identify over 300 birds in North America. I have not heard any turkeys yet. It's been very, very quiet. We still have 30 minutes or so before it really gets dark. So we'll see if anything is heard. Otherwise, I will see you in the tent after I eat. Also, I got cold slaw that I'm going to eat later. It is 58 in the tent right now. I've got the fire going. You can see your breath at certain points. Didn't hear any turkeys this evening. Did have a couple owls hooting. But I'll get up at 4:30 and get out and sit for a while, do the thing. I don't know what else there is to do. They're not here, but if they are, maybe I'll, I won't show it, but I'll go in and fix the top of the ottoman. It's detached, the hinge is come off, so I just got to put a couple of screws in there, and then that project is done. I'll do that in a little bit. And otherwise, I will see you in the morning in the woods. Maybe, maybe not with a turkey. Good morning. I think turkey hunting for the day is probably done. It's about 7 o'clock right now. Now where I'm at is, let me turn you around. There's the American flag, barbecue grill, and tent. And then you can also see right in there, you can see the car. So the reason why I am halfway between the car and the tent, or a little higher than halfway, is right at sunbreak, across the road here, that's where the car's parked, is on our property. The road divides it, and then there's property, two different properties on that side. There was 1, 2, possibly 3 different turkeys gobbling. Started out with 1 this morning. I went to head over to the other side of the property where I've been previously, and I just stood there and listened. There was nothing. So when I hooted, I could get a gobbler to respond over here. So I decided, why not? Let's try to sit here and get them to come up. Because in February when I was up here, you could see where they had walked across and scratched all the leaves up, looking for bugs and nuts and stuff, or food. But then there'd be 1 way over there, and 1, maybe 2 way over there. I don't know how many, because I don't know the terrain. And it was really nice. I could yelp, and they would respond, but they just wouldn't come. And I've got the decoy, as you saw, right there. So, heard turkeys this morning. Heard at least 1, maybe 2. I'm going to sit here and try to call a few more times. It sounded like they were getting farther and farther away every time they gobbled. So they clearly had no interest. So we're getting better. See, I talked about this last week. Turkey season, you got a week to make a harvest, and then your tags are no longer valid. With deer hunting, with like bow, you got middle of September to about the middle of November to get a deer, and then firearms happens for 9 days. And then if you choose to, and you haven't filled your tag with archery, you can go longer. But by that point, it's so cold, it's not even fun. I did have the Merlin Bird app up and on the phone, and had over 20 different birds in like 30 minutes that it had identified, so that was neat. But I won't have far to go to the tent, right, about a 30-second walk. But I'm going to sit here a little bit longer, call a few more times. I don't think that it's going to make a difference. So this is more positive for tomorrow, and possibly Sunday if I don't get one tomorrow, that they are back in the area. They weren't here last week. That's for sure. For breakfast, some sausage patties and 2 eggs. Then we will figure out what to do for today. Alright, so got a couple of things in which I can do. 1, clean the bottom, or the standing area for the shower. That needs to be done. Take this stuff in and hang it, the shelving units, in the new tent or the old tent, whether we use it or not, just to get them up out of the way. I want to bring up at some point 2 or 3 carts, wagonfuls of wood, firewood, I do still have that there in which I can make another frame for in the tent. I'm not sure quite yet where, because I got the gun rack there. Made this last video just two supporting beams that's notched into the frame there, and then two cross beams to hang stuff. Now that's not where everything's going to hang. I just hung everything there in order to make that work. Kind of thinking right here I make one there. That would be my next spot to do it right there, to use up what I have out there. And not necessarily that would be interchangeable with, let's say, that there. All these are going to be customized based on how the tent is sitting. So there's a couple of things. Haven't heard any turkeys. They all went that way. Well, it's sure nice to know that they're here. Last week, they weren't here. So, I've got, today's Friday, I've got tomorrow morning, Sunday morning, and then next week I have Sunday morning and Monday morning, and then that'll be it. Thank you for coming along with me on this extended weekend up at the land. And then also, another thing I need to do is I've got that as the door jamb, but I actually need to cut logs to go on both sides, because those 2x4s just don't hold things down very well. So I'm finding more and more things that need to be done. Unlike a farm, there is a point where, okay, this is good enough. On a farm, never, ever done. Fix fence, trim weeds under the fence, move cows, move pigs, plant things, trim trees, firewood, prep for winter. It's paint this. There's always something. It's where you decide that the stopping point is. Just a really nice day. It's supposed to get up to almost 80 today and tomorrow. And then next weekend, cool back down in the upper 60s. So this is a spot overlooking the pond, swamp, lagoon, bog. Holly wants to have a little spot up here. Not necessarily a camp, but just a setting area. Probably in this area or over here, somewhere in this area. There'd be a lot of sticks and stuff to pick up here, but until I know exactly where she wants it, I'm not going to do any more than cutting a trail, which I have done, and now I am raking that trail, and I am right there. So this is probably every bit of 200 yards from camp. So I've just got a little bit more to go, and I'm going to stop at this where the rake is, I guess, and then we can decide when she gets here next week where she wants this area to be, and then I can bring the chainsaw up and clean the area. I don't think she wants a campfire. She just wants a sitting area. So this was one of the things I wanted to get done, is cut that trail. I'm raking it just so we can see what the terrain is like and get rid of some of these logs and limbs and twigs, because there's a lot of stuff under the leaves that you don't know is there. So that makes it easier for me and for her. In addition, what I will do after we get this established for hunting, our property goes along this lake and kind of jets out another 80 yards that way, give or take. And then the way this terrain works, it starts to go down, and then there's a little offset where I can walk across to get to the other side. So getting to this point, that was the heaviest terrain or heaviest foliage to work through. And then I can just come up here and cut through that brush there, and I'm not even going to clean an area or trail for me. This is like 50 yards. As long as I get the pathway clear, I can get to my offshoot or trail to get to the other side. I do have tree stands over on that side. So the majority of this will be easy to walk in the morning or at night when I'm coming back from the stand, just that little bit there, which is going to be very, very minute. So I'm going to get the rest of this done, and then I'll be back at camp or at the tent and take a little break. So I was able to get the beam that I cut in half last week, that I screwed at the top there. I was able to get that just lifted up. There was enough support at the joint up there. And again, this is not a, this old house type of thing. It's got to be perfect. The purpose of this, in addition to the tape that I have there, is to shed water. This will shed like 99% of the water, and the tape will shed the other 1%. I'm just adding an extra layer with the wood because the tape, in a torrential downpour, the tape may give way. This will help shed the water off one way or the other, and whatever additional water is there, the tape should be able to provide enough support to shed that off and not collect inside where the two tents connect. Same thing on this side here. Sheds most of the water off of the wood there, and we should be just fine. Okay, got this about as far as I can go. I did cut more slabs. Brought the stepping stool in, or the, I don't know what you want to call it, just somewhere where you can put your leg to clean areas. Brought two logs over that would set the 2-burner propane stove that we have in the tent, the stand sport that we got. I think it's only 10,000 BTUs. That pot sits nicely on it. There is a 75,000 BTU unit on Amazon for $40. But again, we're not trying to boil water or heat oil to fry a turkey. We're simply getting water up to a comfortable temperature so we can use the pump that we soon will purchase and shower, rinse off inside the enclosement. So I think that if we do it that way, we'll have to get an adapter for the stove, which is $11 versus $40 buying the whole unit. And 75,000 BTUs, I don't think we need that. Now, we can try it this way. I think we'll be fine with a 20 pound? Yeah, 20 pound propane tank. I just don't want to spend $40 on a 75,000 BTU stand and burner when run this for an extra 5 minutes and it's going to do just the same. If you have thoughts, let me know. And then I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on that framework in the tent to use up this log here. So that is what I have been doing for fun also. I have been charging the jackery. We were down to 72%. We were down to 72%, and we are, I don't know where we are right now. We were pulling in 53 plus watts. So when I figure what we're pulling in now, because it was in the sun, I'll let you see. 64 watts, that's a 100 watt panel. We're at 81%. We were at 72 this morning whenever I pulled it off of the TV. I'm just doing this to see how well this is going to work when I do, or if I do need power, additional power up here. Alright, so I completed that. The two supports, left and right, I had. The top was the remaining portion of that log that was out there. The secondary one, that one there, I had to go down and get to fill in. So that is done. And then this one over here is complete as well. So I will hold off on making any more until we get things sorted out. And then when we take the tent down in November, those will just drop on the floor and or lay on the ground. The tent and the frame, well, the portion of the tent will, the skin will come and be packed away. The tiles will be packed away. The frame will be dropped, and then the mat here, or the floor here, that's going to be left alone and left on the ground as well. Minimal amount, the least I have to pack up, the better. And what's the difference if it gets a little, that's the way we're going to do it. So that one's done, and I like how they turn out. Also, it adds some structure integrity to the tent. However, we would not leave this tent up year-round, even with supports, because the skin, like in this area here, would get way down. Even if we had, we'd have to have supports in every one. I don't think that's worth it, especially when there's opportunities up here where 22 inches of snow can occur in 12 hours. It's not worth the worrying and the extra work but anyway. So that's done. I do want to put those, I may or may not get to that. I don't know if that's a priority or not, but that's where I'm at. I should eat lunch. I don't know what I'm going to eat. Just been keeping the fire going. So the Jackery charged fully. So now I've got the Jackery, Solo, or Jackery 100 watt solar panel plugged into the Blue Eddy, and it is charging at 23 watts an hour. So that was an interesting find whenever we got the Blue Eddy, that the ports were the same, and apparently it does and will charge the Jackery solar panel to the Blue Eddy. So I'm just going to let it run, pulling 23 watts. I'm going to have more than enough power, but it's nice to know that this will work. This is like one of the, what do they call it, trial run or dry run. Obviously the sun is the most intense now in the spring, summer than it would be when it gets dark at 4 o'clock, but it all will work. Haven't really done a whole lot of anything. I did make another path. So instead of going there and then going over, you can go here and then just cut across. It cuts in across the 20-yard marker for the target practice, or archery. But it's very, here we go, and there you go. It's very up and downy because that's just the way the lay of the land is, and just how it's going to be. Gotta pull some more stops here so we don't trip over them. There we go, that's better. But there's no need to fill in lumps and bumps and valleys because this is just wooded area. So other than that, just kind of been hanging out, doing not a whole lot of anything. Got all tomorrow. Supposed to be a much warmer day. I think I am going to go down. I mean, I guess I could do it now. Use up the rest of the gas in the chainsaw and cut wood. That's a project that never ends. So we are getting closer to, it's like, I don't know, 5:30, something like that. 5:44. Sundown is like 8:44, so 3 more hours. So I'll go down and do a little wood cutting. You don't need to see that. You know what it's like, looks like cut wood. And I'll just let it lay and I'll pick it up, or at least stack it tomorrow. And that shouldn't take long. And then I will get venison burgers going, and then I'll have coleslaw. So I was sitting at camp, getting ready to fix supper, and all of a sudden I heard choo, 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 running through the leaves. So I jumped up and I looked. Now you can see where the flagpole is, right there. I look up 2 big deer. Now I don't know if they were buck does because you can't tell right now because the antlers are not forming, but they ran where I was setting at this morning, right in that area, right below the flagpole, because there's a trail there. So they ran all the way there. So I jumped up and kind of scooted over here, and I can get over here quite quickly and quietly because I got no leaves here. So they came across there and they ran across here, and by the time I got over right there, I could already see they went down and then straight up. I don't know exactly, it appears it was right in this area here, give or take, but I'll show you wherever they went down. I mean, it's quite an incline, and then they powered up over there, and I saw their tails, and they just went as hard as they could back in the woods there. So that was exciting, that it was a deer and not a person or other wildlife that would be more dangerous than a deer. So that was exciting. So I grabbed all the video and the cameras and the phone and everything, but didn't get a picture of them. I will show you where they ran across. Now, as soon as I got over there where I was showing you, they went down across the trail and up the other side. I could hear people talking in this road out here next to the property. A lot of people walk it because it's a low maintenance, low vehicle road. So I could hear people talking, and I looked down there and I saw 2 people walking. So I'm going to guess that they spooked those deer. Here is where they come across. They run across here. There's a distinct trail, and then they run back off over there. There's the flag there, so you can see how close they were. And that tree right there is the one of those back there. Let me see if we can find it. That one there is one of those I sat this morning in, turkey hunting. Well, yeah, you can see there, it tore through here. All the leaves are, yeah, the second tree back there is the one I sat at this morning, because the turkey decoy was right there. But yeah, they ran right through there. But the people walking clearly spooked them. They were back over in this area here. Now, fine and dandy, wonderful and good, but it's not deer camp, it's turkey camp. And I'm not looking for a deer, I'm looking for a bird. Venison burgers, going to use that barbecue sauce. Got coleslaw, and going to sit out here. We're still a little early for turkey hearing or roosting, but sit out here. It's too nice to sit in the tent. Really haven't done anything this evening. Bedtime now. I'll see you in the turkey woods in the morning. Maybe we'll be successful. Good morning. I'm back at the spot I was yesterday morning. The road where the car is parked, in between the car and the tent. There's the flag there. barbecue grill right over the hill there. Had two birds at some distance over here across the road gobbling for about 15-20 minutes, and now nothing. It's 5:18. Sunrise is like 4:45, and they have just, no matter what I do, I don't get a response. Mosquitoes are really bad. So I'm going to pick up and go to the other side, even though there's no sign. That was exciting. I have a buck starting to grow antlers coming behind me. For a second I thought maybe that's a turkey coming in behind me and not making any noise. And then I grabbed the phone. I kind of did a pretty good job of filming that on the phone, and then I did a reel. It ran down, and then it came back up, and I mean, it was within 30 yards of me. I'm just sitting here, haven't heard anything. I heard one gobble since the last time I talked to you. I got up, walked to the trail, called across the trail into the backside of the property, nothing. Oh, now the deer's down by the water down there. And then came back and sat here and heard one gobble, and I've called and I've got nothing. So that's the way it goes, I guess. Why the turkeys are only over there and not over here. I've heard them over here like 3 weeks ago. So I don't know. I'm going to get up here in a minute and go fix breakfast. That deer is still down in that area looking at me. Well, it's kind of a disappointment. Not so much in the woods getting to hunt, being on your own property getting to hunt, but because of the way the system works out. I bought 3 tags and a license. One tag is no longer valid. That was last week. I've got one more opportunity tomorrow morning, and that tag's no longer valid. So it's, in one sense, wasting money on tags that's not used. But if you don't buy the tags, you don't have the opportunity to go out. So it's the way it is. We don't own enough land in order to get free landowner permits. That's why purchasing tags is what we're doing. Getting breakfast made, the rest of the sausages, and then the rest of the eggs. It's going to be a warm one here in the Northwoods of Wisconsin. 82 for a high today, which will be the warmest day this year. I think they said the average is 64, I think is what the average, that's what it will be next week. 64 for a high, and high 30s, low 40s for lows. So I will get that, and fewer and fewer tasks to be accomplished. There's some small things that are always going to need to get done, but want to haul some wood up And what was the other thing? There was something else I wanted to do. And when I figure that out, I'll let you know. But a chance of rain this afternoon as well, so we could work in the tent a little bit. And just a really nice morning. Would have been better if we had a turkey on the ground, but I had that deer coming behind me, that buck. That was exciting. 3 eggs and 5 pieces of sausage. Cooked the eggs in a 6-inch cast iron skillet with about 1 teaspoon or one, whatever that is, butter, teaspoon, tablespoon, whatever the measurement is, and just let it set right on the coals. Flip it 1 time, and it comes out exactly how you want an egg to come out every time. I have brought all the wood up that I had cut. Didn't stack very good in the wagon, but also I don't go and trim all those branches off. I'll bring them up here and just stack them, and whatever breaks off, and I'll throw in the fire. But utilize all parts. Now something like this here, I'm not probably going to use that in the tent just because there's too much there to break off. Same thing with some of these. I'll just stack them, put larger ones on top, smash them down, and then throw them in the fire. It doesn't have to be pristine, pretty, photograph, magazine, perfect logs. It's all wood, it'll all burn, and I'm utilizing as much of the tree as I possibly can, just like I spoke about over here. These are the tops of the trees that I don't like to waste, so I bring them up and we'll throw them in the fire, and they really have a good, they burn quick and add a good coal base for larger ones. And you may think it's 82 degrees, why are we using wood, or why are we stacking wood? You always want to have more than wood than you think you need. My ideal situation would be that full all the way across. You can see how depleted we are. It was never that full to begin with, but I'd want to take them chairs out and use that tree as a base and go to the top of that lantern and go all. That would be adequate amount of wood that I would be happy with. And then also I've got here, this was stacked up to there last year and I've used that down. I've got some over there. It's still drying because that's, I think, somewhat wet. But the purpose of, I always want to try to get a couple of loads, or starting now, at least 1 or 2 loads every trip, for the purpose of having the wood up here. So when it is really cold, the wood's here. Whenever it's deer hunting season for archery and gun, I'm not going to go down and be cutting wood. I'm going to be in the stand hunting. So I want all that prep work done. So the wood is completed and I can enjoy the time in the stand, not going, okay, well, I got to be out of the stand at this time because I got to get more wood up. I will bring the wood boxes in the tent. The orange one's going to be a wood box, one of them, and then the other one for the other stove when we get it, for the smaller tent. I will have some wood in there for the sole purpose of, if we come up here and it's raining, or it has been raining and things are wet, we've got kindling in the tent that is completely dry, and I've got wood in the tent to get a good base, and then I can start using the wood that's been rained on. That's my thought process on this whole firewood deal. That looks a little better. And the mooky stuff, it'll burn, that burn outside. Anything that I've got questionable, that stays outside. But yeah, fill that up, and then fill that up too. Why not? That's all I'm going to bring up. That's all I've got cut down there. I don't want to fill the chainsaw back up and go down and cut some more. I just wanted to clean up what I had down there. I want to put a log on both sides there, and though that was a log for the supporting of the tent during possible snow, I'm going to utilize that for the front barrier, just because I can get more and I can use this one up. I'll use a bow saw to cut that, and to get it, to basically divide it, and then that's your door jamb on the inside. Keeps the wind from whipping underneath. Also keeps bugs and reptiles and possible red squirrels from going in and out, which I had, was it last week? Right before I went to bed, I would turn the lights off, and it was just enough illumination. I saw something come in, spin around, go back out, and it was a puffy tail, and it was a red squirrel. We have several in that tree, and throughout the area here in these pines. Yeah. So I do want to do that as well. So I did a little more landscaping or leaf removal, I guess, more than anything. So last week, went from that tree to our walk path and removed all the leaves and any logs and debris and brush, and to see what the terrain of the land underneath it was. So now I did from the tree to this pine tree, because this is going to be our, when the driveway is put in, this will be the new, or the parking area. Prior to doing a little more looking, I was wanting to have all of this removed and shoved over here, and this all opened all through here, except for that, I think I talked about this in a previous video, that tree, and there's another pine tree right there. But that's a lot of extra time and material being moved by a machine in which we are paying somebody an hourly, probably $100 an hour to do it. I don't know what the going rate is, but it's not cheap, and we haven't got a quote on anything yet, but I'm glad we haven't, because the driveway, that's the side there, and then it would come out to about there. There's a stump there. If they can't remove the stumps, I can do that. But split between those trees, it comes up here, up the grade, and we're just wanting that grade, the land to be, foliage and leaves and debris to be removed and down to bare soil, so we can pack it, because we're not going to do rock or anything. If it's too wet, we won't drive on it. We'll just park down there. And then this grade, to get it level, it should be very easy to climb up with a vehicle. I don't know what the degree of banking is, but you come between that tree there and that tree there. That's a left side, and then that would be, that's kind of like that right now. So we have them dig it out so it's level and come up, and instead of doing that whole area cleaned off like I thought, what we'll do is just bring the driveway up. That tree is the side, that walk path is the other side, and we go all the way, removing this little bit here till you get to that tree there, that pine tree, and then leveling all of this off here. So this pine tree to that pine tree, all of this gets removed and all of that stays, which would save a considerable amount of time in the operation of a vehicle or a piece of equipment. And then take all of this and level this out, and then the thought process is you bring your car, your vehicle up here, we stop here, we back in there, turn around, and then back to where the back end's, like right there where that stump is, but that stump will be removed. And then if we have to have need a second vehicle, there's enough room for two parking places up here. No rock, no pavement, just bare soil. You look at what's here by the tent, it's very, very packed, and you could drive a vehicle on that without any issue. It's a very porous material here. It drains very good. It's not necessarily sand, There is some top layer there, but we need to get the grade created so when it's dry we can't get up here and access the area with vehicles, and then the car or the SUV would park there instead of having to haul everything up with the wagon. Again, I'm not going to do any more because there's a tremendous amount of debris where I talked about on that right hand side. That would be the driveway. This is as far as I wanted to go, is to get this all clear to see what we're looking at. But from there over, there's just a bobcat or a front loader or whatever could just go in there and within 10 minutes have all that cleared out, or it would take me 2 to 3 hours to do that, and I'd be in a lot of pain because I'd be sore. So gives me an idea. Happy with what I got. Glad we're not going to remove all of that because that'd be crazy to work. I pay somebody to do all that and it wouldn't benefit us at all. For lunch, I'm going to have the rest of the hot dogs, the rest of the chili dogs. There's a little bit of chili left. I'll eat that later. Haven't really done a whole lot of anything of volume this afternoon. Rain's moving in. I don't know how severe it'll be. We're under a watch right now. More severe stuff is to the north and south of us, so that's good. Just been kind of relaxing. We've done a lot of stuff this weekend, minus harvesting a turkey, but we'll try again in the morning. And then I'll pack up and head home after that is completed. Whether we get one or not, I'd be surprised if I hear anything. As over there across the road and on the other property, probably 2 properties back is where they're at. Nothing's on our property, at least as of this morning. So then we'll try again next week 2 times and call it what it is. But yeah, a lot of things have gotten done here. I'm going to start working in the tent as the thunder I hear in the distance starts getting closer. So thanks for coming along. It's not been that exciting of a hunt for Turkey Camp Week 2, but we got to try. Got that all kind of a thought process now on this, so that's good, as we discussed earlier. So that's a good thing there. It was 81 in the tent earlier. I don't know. When I leave, I close the tent because it was getting so windy that I didn't want it to become a flight issue. 78. So it is cooling down, getting darker. It's only 6:30. So with the rain coming in, I'm just going to go ahead and pull down our flag from eaglemountainflag.com, simply because it's not going to be able to dry by tomorrow morning whenever I don't think it will. So it's dry now, and I'll just pull it down. So it's one less thing I have to do in the morning, as after the hunt, as this rain comes in, I'm going to organize the tent and pack things up so it's just drop and go. And been up here since Thursday 1 o'clock, and I'll leave mid-early Sunday morning. Might be the first thunderstorm I think I've ever been in the tent with, so that'll be exciting. I'm not concerned that I'm watching the TV and watching the radar on the TV, the warning and the watches, and I'm not in a warning, I'm in a watch. So we're going to get some rain, but the severe stuff is south of me. So this is one of the advantages to having a power station or stations however you do such, to power a small TV is so you know what's going on. Severe weather's in the area. Cell phone is spotty at best with that type of reception. I can call it, I can text fine, but to get a weather app to function is very hard. I spent about 25 minutes just now getting it to pull up. I can turn the TV on, I can see what's going on and know if I need to exit or if I'm okay to stay. So just another reason, even though you want to get away from the TV, it's good to have it and have rabbit ears so you can know what's going on. As of right now, the severe stuff split and went north. Still some thunder. Even though it is fairly close to where I am at, it's not going to, based on what the radar is showing currently, we might get a little rain, but that's going to be it, which is fine. It's not a problem. So I'm going to eat, just having the chili dog and cold slaw leftovers, and then I'm going to start working in the big tent back there. I'll throw a light up. You can't see much. Pack everything away for tomorrow. Stuff that's staying here, try to find a little home for it until Holly gets up here next weekend, and then we'll make a big move and finalize everything in the big tent as well as the little tent. Well, just for the record, that is what a torrential downpour and pea-sized hail sounds like inside of an Ozark Trail wall tent. Everything's fine. There was a few issues. One, the car is fine because that was my main concern. This was not completely closed on the outside, so it was running in and dripping down. And there's some moisture water on there. So quick fix, I jammed the tripod up there until the rain stopped. Secondly, this flap here was down and water was coming in under the tiles just in this general area here. So I was able to remove the tiles and scoop the water out and just letting it dry. As far as I can tell, those are, and then outside I dug some more of a trench to get water to shed away more. Beyond that, everything seems to be okay. We had some water pool there, so I threw a 1x4 up there. And then we have water that pools on this back one here as well. You can see how it hangs here. So I will get a board and throw there. That one's not too bad. Everything else appears to be okay. But on this small tent, it was that back. If you're standing and looking into the tent, it was this back left corner, which is, we've got a post up there right now, and we'll have to put something over there. They are expecting more rain this week, so I will prep those areas. That I'm just going to leave alone because that one is holding position. So I do have materials here in which I can do stuff with. So that might be something I will just go down and get a small something or another down on a fallen tree and at least temporarily put up there on those two if I don't have any boards. But that was interesting. The radar had showed that we had missed it, and then it came and rebuilt and we got hit with it. I'm happy the car is not damaged. Pea-sized hail. And the tent, it was good that I was here to catch the water there, and otherwise there would have been 10 gallons of water coming out of the stove jack. And we put that board up. That's the seam between the two tents there. We put the I guess I'll call it a ridge board up yesterday or the day before, and when I put my hand in here, there's maybe 2-3 drops if that side's dry there. So that has worked very, very well. The tape held, and the board shed most of the water off except for like 3 or 4 drops. So if you ever decide to do something crazy like we are and connect 2 wall tints together, that might be an option. So I did eat. I had leftovers. I think maybe I told you, maybe I didn't. So now I am going to gather everything that I'm taking home, and then that will leave most of the stuff here, or I'll clean up most of the stuff you see here. It's a mess. Let's put some more light on this, and then get ready for in the morning. That's our checkerboard card table. It's a wooden table that I've made into a checkerboard and made checkers out of disc of wood from the property. So that, and then one is, and then the other one's for your, then you got purple ones for the other one. So I had a wooden table in the basement, and that's a match to this one here, which we haven't done anything with. It's just a table. So I'll come back if I need to and show you anything. Other than that, as soon as it gets dark here, or right at dark, I'm going to go out and see if I can hear anything. I don't think I will with all the rain on the leaves. And I will see you in the morning, and we'll wrap this little shindig up and take it on home and try again next week. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you made it this far, let's put rain in the comments, and then, because that was exciting. So thank you very much for being with me this weekend. Extended. Just to give an update here, I found a 2x4 that would work there for the temporary thing, and then I took the rake, took a tie and snapped into the framework here, so that's not going to go anywhere, and that kicks it up just enough that it will shed the water off until I get back up here next week and basically do it right. I'm going to move the ottoman here, pull some of these tiles up that water was underneath, and get that dry. But that was the quick fix there. Good morning. I'm still at camp here. You can see I stand over here at first sunlight and listen to where the turkeys are gobbling, and that will determine where I go. It's 5 a.m. It's been getting light for the last 18-22 minutes. Have not heard a turkey at all. So it doesn't make any sense for me to go wander in the woods and do a half-mile walk round trip to sit there and call when there's no turkeys, when I've heard turkeys the last 2 mornings way over there on the other property, not our property, but there is nothing. I have no idea if that thunderstorm and the hail and the wind messed their cycle up. I can't imagine it. I don't think it would, because it does that all the time. So I'm just going to sit here and just kind of listen. I've called a couple of times as well, hooted, nothing. So it kind of goes with the current trend of Turkey Camp Week 1, and this will conclude most likely Week 2. I'll get breakfast made and pack up. But I'll stay here for a little while longer. So right after I got done talking to you, way off in the distance, like over the tent and on the other property or beyond properties, heard 2 gobbles, so I came back and sat where I've sat the last 2 mornings. It's been about 25 minutes. I've called. There's been crows crowing and other noise that would have made the turkey gobble. So on Friday morning, it was about an hour worth of 2 or 3 birds. Yesterday, it was about 15 minutes of, I think, 1 bird, and this morning it was 2 gobbles, and that was it. So that's the way it's going to be. I'll pick up things here, head to the tent, which is just, I can throw a baseball and hit the tent. I'm so close. So, I put the flag down last night, but you can see the barbecue grill and the tent from where I currently sit. I do have the decoy out there. So I will get breakfast going. I'll get the fire going because I want to make some hot water. And then I want to cook the other two deer burgers. Take them home with me, and I might cook what little bit of back straps I have and wrap them up in aluminum foil and take them home as well. It's not even 5:30 in the morning. But we've done everything we can do. And it's been enjoyable to be in the woods, be camping. Not so enjoyable not seeing a turkey, having tags for. That's how it goes. A lot of projects got done that typically would take 2 or 3 weekends to do, since I was here for multiple days instead of just a few hours type of thing. So this is my turkey setup. Wooden stool, I think it's 11 by 14 by 6 inches off the ground. Made that out of old deck boards, and then the gun rest that wraps around my knee, made that out of some scrap lumber, some carpet, and an old bike helmet strap. So I didn't have to buy either one of those. The stool is probably, I don't know, $20 to $30, and the knee rest is a good 10 to 15, so that's what I use for my setup for turkey hunting, the things that I make, so I don't have to spend any money. Ate some oatmeal for breakfast, had deer or venison burgers and some back straps. A small portion that was left over from a previous meal, still frozen. Well, they weren't frozen, but they were thawed in the cooler. So I'm just cooking those up. I'm going to wrap them up in aluminum foil, take them home with me. So I'm just going to call this good because I'm going to head out. Beautiful morning here. Another weekend, second week for me for turkey camp. Still 0 on the board. 2 tags no longer valid. I've got 1 more for next weekend. We got 2 days to try it, and we'll see what happens for week and third and final week for me for turkey camp. Thank you so much for being with me. If you've made it this far, let's put second in the comments below to let me know that the 4 people that have watched to this point has made it that far, and I thank you very much for that. Like, subscribe. If you have questions, you can certainly ask about our camp, and we'll see you next time.